Please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Hello, I'm Greg Purdom, and today I'm going to present Mac Quick Tips. This is being brought to you by Sarasota Technology Users Group, or STUG, free of charge. Okay, today I'm going to do my presentation from the preview app. These slides were all made on Keynote, but and they were distributed to you by email, but we're going to present them by using the preview app instead of the Keynote app. The first slide we're going to look at here is a peek inside Safari tab. One of the things that was added in Big Sur was the ability to sort of peek into the apps that are in the tabs on Safari. And I have a link down here below in the lower left-hand corner that shows you some of the other things that were added for Big Sur. Now, if you're operating on older computers, you may not be able to load Big Sur, and that's all right. But I'm going to go to the next slide, and then after 3 slides, I'm going to demonstrate what I'm talking about here. Now, this is a way to close tabs or windows in pretty much all of your apps. And this slide depicts being able to do that from the help menu. And in this case, we're showing Safari. And then in Safari, if we click on help, number 1, and then type in close, that will bring up this drop-down window and also this other drop-down window, where this arrow is pointing to the command that you would normally do for closing a tab. Tabs and windows are very similar, and sometimes the control switches back and forth between tabs and windows depending on which one you're using. Windows is when you have 2 separate occurrences of the app and you can see them simultaneously, or 2 windows in at once. And tabs are when 2 windows are sort of combined into 1 window, and you can look at one or other, or you can have multiple. And you normally do this on smaller screens. Larger screens people use windows instead of tabs. But in this case, when we type in close in the help menu window here, it brings up these items, and I can click here to close. I can click over here to do the command, or I can type in command W. Okay, another thing in Safari, as I suggest that people clear their history, particularly when you're dealing with your banking or financial accounts where you have to log in with your passwords. Sometimes those passwords stay in the memory of your computer and are available long after you've gone out of the app. So the way you do that is when you're in Safari, you click on Safari in the menu, it drops down a little menu, and then you click on clear history, and that brings up this selection window, and you can choose how much time. I usually just do it for the last hour after I've been banking or doing some financial work. So you select the time, and then it brings up another window, and you actually hit the clear history. Now you can read more about it with this question mark here in that tab, or you can click on this link. Now I want to demonstrate those things in Safari. I'm going to switch over to the Safari app here. Get a new window. Okay, now I have a lot of bookmarks and tabs, and I'm going to open up some of these tabs at once. Now, these are several things that I look at either in Safari or through Apple News to keep track of what's going on in the Apple and Mac world. If I drop down to here, open in new tabs, I'm going to simultaneously open all of those links at one time, and I can click from one to another. Now, as that first slide suggested, as I hover over each of the tabs, it gives me sort of a preview of what's in that tab. So I don't have to click it open. I might know by the looks of it which one I'm after, and that gives me quicker access to knowing what's going on with all the different tabs. Now, the next slide we were talking about here is how to close a tab window. And I want to demonstrate that now. So I have multiple tabs here. And if I would come up here and type in the word close, and I come down here, move my cursor down to close tab, I could close windows or tab. And then you see on the left where that's showing me the actual command to use. When you use help like this, it often shows you the command in the drop-down window, or I could do just a Command W. But when I click that, it's going to close the one tab that we're in, and we're in. I'm going to select this 9 to 5 tab. I'm going to do this again. Close tab. This time I'm just going to click right here, and that closed that 9 to 5 tab. Now in history, I can go back up here, and I can reopen last closed tab. Okay, that brought that tab back. With tabs, you can also move them around, and you could add more tabs with this button here. Or you can take a particular tab that you're looking at, and you can make that tab move to its own new window. Okay. It's taken it out of this list of tabs and produced a second window. So when I look up here, I actually have, well, I have multiple windows going on. I had some open before we started. Is there any questions on this? Now, the third thing I was going to show with this is the history. So I'll go back to the Safari ad, and now I'm going to click on Safari and do clear history. That brings up this window. Now, the last time I used this command, I set it for an hour, but I can click this drop down and change it for a different length of time. And then when I pick clear history, it actually does it. Another look at that command again here. We can look at this. This brings up in the help some more information about clearing history, and so does the link on the and you see that it's this is bringing up this information in the help feature. The help windows always lie on top of all other windows in the Mac. That link I had in the lower left-hand corner of the slide brings up the same information, but it brings it up on the internet, the Safari user guide on the internet through the Apple Support Store. And that's just a regular tab on Safari, or in this case, a regular window. So if I click on something else, that goes in the background.
Greg, is it a good idea to clear cookies?
Yeah, yes and no. There are good cookies and there are bad cookies. I tend to not clear them very often, because when you go in somewhere and you've logged in and you come back, for instance, you go into the weather app and you told the weather app where you live. So you want the weather for where you're at, or maybe you have another list of places that for family and friends that you like to check the weather. In that case, that's a good cookie because that's helpful to you. You don't have to enter in your location or your zip code every time. So that's a good cookie. And then also some other sites help recognize you. And if you've had some preferences and stuff on those sites, it just helps you. Occasionally there's some bad people that try to do bad things with cookies, but in general, I leave my cookies pretty much alone. But You can do that in preferences and websites. And that's where you can look at some of the different things that's going on in your different websites. You can also look at privacy, and that's where you can block cookies, which I do not do, or you can manage your web data. And then you look on a particular website and that has cookies. Now I can remove the cookies from that website. So what you would do is the websites that you use a lot and you depend on, I would leave those cookies alone. If there's something that's a website that you're not sure of, or you're afraid of, or you know for sure is bad, you may want to remove the cookies on that.
Okay. That's logical. Greg, I don't know what I would do without you. I really.
Greg, I have a question on the same topic. This is Joan.
Okay.
There are some cookies that cannot be deleted, local storage and cache. Those go right back after you've removed them. And I understand it's more complicated and not for the amateur to try to get rid of those, but.
Yeah, I don't really know that I could offer any more on that.
Okay.
Because that's not really a subject that I've dealt in real deeply to try to get rid of some of those. I don't really know. Tim has a question.
Yeah, this is more of a concept. When you're syncing bookmarks between, your Safari bookmarks.
Yes.
Does it work as follows? You go to each machine that you want to sync and you turn on iCloud and Safari syncing on each machine. Because I only want 3 of my 5 Macs to sync bookmarks. I don't want the other 2 Macs to sync bookmarks.
Yes, you're right. And system preferences, and you go into your Apple ID and you go down here to Safari. On the ones that you want to synchronize the bookmarks, you would check this box. Those that you don't want to synchronize, you uncheck them.
Perfect. That's what I want.
Okay. Any other questions? And there's other ways to do bookmarks. You can export bookmarks and import those, but the syncing, and if you only wanted to do a certain subgroup of all your stuff, you might want to play with that. But or for instance, pardon?
Tell me more.
Okay, if I had one of those machines I didn't synchronize, but maybe there was only a few bookmarks I wanted out of my many bookmarks. There's a couple different ways you can move those bookmarks over. You can export bookmarks. You can select bookmarks and export them and then import them into that one specific Mac. You can also last session I sent out my resources, and there was a bunch of links, web links on that, and you could put your web links on either a Pages document or Numbers document or whatever, and put them on that document, then bring that document up on that other Mac, and then just click on those links that you wanted, and then actually make a new bookmark for those links. And you could organize them differently on that Mac than all your other Macs.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. My next slide here is customize any app toolbar. And I said, this is almost any app. One comes to mind that this won't work in is your contacts app. There's really not a toolbar in it. But if you're in most of the apps on your Mac, what you do is you can go into the view drop down of your menu of whichever app we're talking about. You click on view, and somewhere normally towards the bottom, but there's a few of them where this is located higher up. There's a command called customize toolbar, and you click on that, and that brings up this drop down window. And there's a whole selection of individual commands that can be added to this toolbar. This is the toolbar. This up here is the menu. This bar here represents the strip along the top of your computer screen. That's the menu bar. And that menu bar changes with the application that you're in. Like this menu bar up here. And if you go into different apps, then this name changes and some of these drop down changes. Normally the stuff on the right of the menu bar stays pretty stationary, and that's what's on there and what's its positions determined a lot by system preferences. But when you customize this toolbar, you can drag things in and drag things out. And if you say, oh my goodness, I've messed this thing all up, now what do? You can always grab this bar down here, which was the original default setting for its particular app. You drag the whole thing up. I'm going to demonstrate that now. I'm going to go back into Safari because okay, let's get a new window. Okay, now if I go into view, and in this case, the customized toolbar, instead of being down here, is actually the second one. When I do that, that brought up this additional window. And here's what I'm talking about the defaults, okay? And if I let go of that, that'll put the defaults in there. But I can add in a new thing here. Maybe often when I'm in Safari, I like to mail stuff to people. So I could add that command in here and decide where I want to put it, and I'll put it right in there. And all of these other things can be added in the same way. But I can also take that out by grabbing any of these. This was existing in there, grabbing that. Oops. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Let me try to put another one in here. Okay, another demonstration gone wrong. I'm supposed to be able to drag those out. Let me try that again.
You have to save it before that you can drag them out.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Tim. Okay. Now I can see I can save or get rid of that. You see it disappeared. Yeah, thank you, Tim. You can also move these around, okay, to different locations. Any questions on that? Now, an alternate way, instead of doing steps 1 and 2, there is a keyboard shortcut. And I can just right click in here and do customize toolbar. And that's the same as if I had done this command here. I'm going to do. Okay. But for a lot of people, they don't remember the shortcuts as well. So that's why I demonstrate the proper use of the menus instead, the drop-down menus. But if you can get on to remembering the shortcuts, it'll save you a lot of time. And the real power of the right click is it brings you up commands right where you're looking, because you're normally looking at where the cursor's at. So when I do that right click, it brings up that little contextual menu. And by contextual, it means it in context to what you were looking at or clicking on. These commands work in conjunction with what you're looking at. so they're very efficient commands. I don't have to look through a long list and decide which ones apply. These all apply in this particular area. Like these other ones, I'm showing in the toolbar icon and text. I can show only the icons. I got rid of the text, or I can do text only. Of course, I choose both. I need all the help I can get. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, our next one is, I've got a couple here in Finder, and this one is how to keep your folders on top in Finder. I'm going to switch over to Finder here. I'll do that with the app switcher. Oop, it didn't work. I'm going to hide this one here so it won't distract us. I'm going to hide behind here is Safari. I'm going to hide that right now. I did a Command H on both of those to get rid of them. And now we're looking at Finder. And remember, Finder has four ways to view the same information. Here we're looking at columns, and that's normally what I look at, but we could have also looked at a list that's that same information and list. It gives us a little bit more detail about each line item, and then you can open up individual, by double clicking, I can open up these folders, and I have additional folders here, can open up that. But if I want to keep the
How much storage space do you have?
I have about 512 gigabytes on my solid state drive, and I can check that here with the Apple menu.
Right.
About this Mac storage.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is my solid state inside. This is my time machine backup here.
Mm-hmm.
This is still calculating. So the right now, if you bought a new Mac, I believe the smallest storage is 256 gigabytes. So this one is one notch up in storage than the base machine.
That's great. I don't know how you do it. I have 1 terabyte and I'm running out of space.
Well, I don't know. I had a long time of having to fight with smaller storage, so that's why I got used to that. Okay, I forgot what I was doing here. Yeah, I want to keep folders on top, so in Finder, I'm going to go back to Finder here. In System Preferences, I could go to this is how you keep folders on top, and Windows sorting by name and on desktop. So here when I'm viewing or grouping, when I change that from application to viewing by name, that made the folders all go to top here. Now, viewing by application overrides that. I don't like to have my folders mixed in with files. These little icons here with the blue folder represent folders, where these other icons represent some sort of document. And this is actually an alias. You see the little arrow pointing in the lower left-hand corner. This file is actually located in a different folder, and it just I have an alias or a link shortcut to get there. And if I look at that particular folder, and I look down here, and I'm showing my path, and this is actually in this other folder here. Same way with my mailing list. That's another link here. This is the list where I keep track of everybody on this spreadsheet here. Oop, I don't want to show this too long with personal information here. Any questions on this?
Yes, Greg.
Yes.
With when we're emailed documents or whatever, we usually open them in Finder. Can we save them in Finder, or do we have to put them in something, or should we put them in something when we save them? Or can we
Finder is not a location; it's an application. Okay, and I'm going to look at a new Finder window, and this is a way to look. So all of these folders are sort of locations, and the only thing you can save in Finder is if you take a screenshot. And I'm going to take a screenshot of this area, and it's a picture. That's not a text. It's a picture of this text. And if I open Preview and I do Command N, new from clipboard, Command N. If I do that, that creates a document with Preview that's taking that picture. Now I can save this. This is untitled. This is not saved, but I can save this. And I can put it in a location. Okay, Finder is not a location. It's an application to look at locations. And then, of course, I can choose anywhere this goes. I'm going to put it right now just on desktop, and going to give it a name. Now here's where I put it on the desktop, and that's where that went. And because I opened up Preview, you know, I have Preview has two different windows going on. I have the slides, and I have this document that I just created. Does that help you, Diane?
Well, I'm still a little confused because the slides I get from your classes and from Bill's classes, I've been saving them to my computer.
Yes.
In Preview, and I've been able to open them again and look at them.
You're saving. You're not. Don't they go into downloads?
I don't think so. I mean, I've been saving them to my hard drive, to iCloud. I've been saving them to the cloud.
iCloud.
Yeah, to iCloud Drive.
Okay,
Yeah.
when you open, let's see, in Mail, and if I look at Preferences,
I'm talking about the slides, you know, that you send or that Bill sends, you know, the attachment.
yeah.
With the,
Okay, when you open that up, you're getting it in Mail, right? And then if you save, Mail uses, this is the setting. This is where they're supposed to go. Yours probably says something different unless you overwrite it when you save it.
No, I'm not saving the whole email. I'm just saving the attachment.
Right, and that's what this is talking about right here. In Mail, preferences.
I click on the attachment and it opens up in preview. And
Right.
or I just save the attachment to iCloud Drive. I have them in folders in iCloud Drive, and I'm able to open them again and look at them.
In iCloud Drive, right?
Yeah.
Can you quickly take a look in Mail and see what setting you have for this down here?
Yeah. Okay. So, all right, I go into Mail. I go into Mail settings.
Mail and drop down to Preferences.
Okay. Mail. Okay.
Click on Mail in the menu bar. And then
Menu bar. And where do I see preferences? I don't see it in a drop down. I just see my mailboxes.
you sure you're clicking on the word Mail in the menu bar? Like, can you see my screen?
Hold on a second. Let me see if I can move it over so I can see your screen. Okay. Yeah, I see your screen now. So Mail. Hold on a second. I just opened Mail. That's not what I want to do, I guess.
Yeah.
So let me close that out. So what am I supposed to do?
Well, you want to be in the app, but you want to click on the Mail drop down and then do Preferences. You want the Mail app running, but you want to click on the Mail word itself and get the drop down Preferences. Or if Mail's running, just hold the Command key down and hit the comma key. And that should open up Preferences.
Yeah.
This is the Preferences.
Yeah.
The first tab on the left here is General.
Yeah.
You want that tab, and then you drop down here and drop Downloads folder.
Yeah. And I have downloads.
Downloads. Okay. Somehow when you're doing that, it must be when you go into that, you're clicking on iCloud to get it to go to iCloud. Let me
Well,
see.
what I'm doing is I'm saving the attachments.
Okay, and you're checking that. You must be clicking on iCloud.
Yeah, I'm saving it to iCloud Drive.
Yeah, you're in Mail, but you're using Preview to look at an attached document, and then you're also using Preview to save it in a location.
Yeah.
And that location is your iCloud.
And I shouldn't be doing that, or because I'm able to go back to it.
Yeah, because you saved it in iCloud. The default, if you look, if we go into Finder here and we look at here's the slides that we're looking at today here in my folder. And if I right click that and I get information on that, the default by default, this file, these slides open with Preview. You see this here?
Yes.
This
Yeah.
preview?
Yeah, mine's the same way.
And that's why when you click on that file, no matter where it's located, whether it's on iCloud or your desktop or any other part of your Mac, when you click on that, your Mac will use Preview to open that file because of this line right here.
Right. So should I be changing that to something else?
No, that's the application you want to open that PDF with. And then of course you have chosen where you wanted to store it. Now, if you want to move that, you can move that. you can drag these slides. In your case, it's in iCloud, but I could drag these over here, and now it's located on my desktop. It's gone here, okay?
Right. Yeah.
But I'm going to undo that. Now I'm just going to drag it back.
Yeah, no, these things I'm not making changes to, obviously, because they're learning tools. But
Right.
if I got a document from someone that I wanted to be able to make changes on, would I then have to get it out of preview and put it in a regular document?
Well, you have to have a app that'll edit a PDF. If it's a PDF, preview will look at more things than just a PDF. It will look at images, and you can modify images. It'll look at a lot of different documents. But the only thing you can do to a PDF with preview is sort of right on top of it.
Uh-huh. Right. So in other words, if I want to edit it, I'm better off. Yeah.
Well, you're better off getting a file in the native app it was generated in, and then edit it in that app.
Yeah. So in that case, I would have to get it out of preview. So you were going to the clipboard. I mean, isn't it possible to just, save it to, is there another way to get it out of preview without going to clipboard? Getting it in there?
Well, if you have an app, and I don't have one, there are some Adobe apps that you can edit a PDF with. Adobe's the one that originally created PDF. They actually created it for Apple years and years ago. If you have a application that will read a PDF in and edit it, you can do that.
Well,
but,
I mean,
those are expensive. But with preview, you can write on top of something. I'm in preview now. I'm looking at these slides, and there's this over here is called markup.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
But, I'm talking about editing something, not markup.
Editing text. Yeah. No, you have to have either an editor for PDF, which I don't have.
Well, what about, but I know that if you go to the print menu and you click on PDF, you can save PDF files. You can't change them,
but PDFs weren't intended to be edited originally. What that is PDF is a file that you're sending to your printer. That's what it was for.
Right.
To send it to the printer.
So, okay. So let's say I don't want to edit something and I just want to save it. Usually the document may come in Word or something. So the only way is to go to the clipboard to save it and get it out of PDF and change the name there.
No, if the document originally came in Word and somebody generated the PDF from the Word document, if you really wanted to edit that document, you would ask them to send you the Word file, not the PDF.
No, I'm saying if I don't want to edit it, I just want to.
Oh, if you don't want to edit it, just save it in PDF. If they send you a Word and I believe, I don't remember for sure, but I believe Preview can look at a Word document and then you can save it as a PDF.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Okay, and suppose I don't know what it's made in. Maybe it's made in not pages, but whatever I forgot what the presentation, and not the
Keynote.
Yeah, not
Keynote
or Windows one. I forgot what it is. I used to do things in it, but I forgot already. But in the presentation one, suppose you
for Microsoft.
Yeah, but suppose you just want to save it, so you can look at it again. You have to go to the clipboard to rename it. You just can't save it to.
Well, I believe when you first receive that as an email, you can save it in the form that it's at.
Okay, so you can just save it.
You can just save it and then look at it again with Preview. But if you're unsure what it is and you want to know, you can always click on that file if you've already saved it,
Yeah,
or you can probably click on it in the email. But if I right click then
yeah,
and
it'll
do the
say
get
what it-
information,
Right,
then that'll tell me what kind of document it is.
right,
And then it opens with, and it'll have a suggestion. See, in this case, instead of opening with preview, it wants to open this one because it's a pages document with pages. But you could also look for other things. You can even go into the App Store and say, this is a document that I don't have something for. Will you suggest something that will open this document? And the App Store might offer you some other choices.
you mean it might offer suggestions? Because that's always been a problem when I was in Windows. If I didn't have the right app, I didn't know what to open it with.
Oh yeah, it'll offer you suggestion. If we go to this get information, I go down here and open up the App Store, and that the only suggestion it's giving for this is pages. That's the
Right.
only one that they
Yeah.
have.
But it
for
would,
this.
it's all right, you don't have to demonstrate, it's just good to know that information, thank you.
Okay.
Greg, is Pages more Excel or Word?
It's more like Word,
Okay, good.
and Numbers is like Excel.
Right. Okay,
But
thank you.
there is crossover in the three iWorks apps, and iWorks is Apple's Office.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Now we're ready for this next slide here, is how you change the file or folder icon when we're in. And I'm talking about these icons here that look like a blue folder. We can actually change how that looks, and you may want to do that to help organize your stuff, where you can look at it and immediately you know what it is. And now you wouldn't want to go to this much trouble for every folder or file that you have on your device, but certain ones that you want to look at real quickly and they just jump off the page at you. One way of doing that is assigning a different picture for this icon. Now, it only works if you're in the icon view. If you're looking at some other method, it doesn't show up. But look, going back to the slide here, the first step is you go copy a picture that you're going to want to use for the end result. And in this case, I want to get a logo of STUG. And of course, they've had different logos over the years, but this seems to be the most current logo. So I'm going to copy this in to my clipboard here. And you just have to do a Command C. Once you locate it and find the thing, select it and do a Command C to copy it. Then I'm going to open up the Finder app here and navigate to the folder icon that I want to change. And I find that. And then I click on Get Summary Information or Command I, Control Command I in this case. And I bring up that icon and I click on that icon in that window. And then I actually paste. And of course, what's in my clipboard was the icon that I started with originally. So I'm going to paste this, and that ends up pasting here. And then this is the last result here, where this icon is changed to that. And then down below, there's a bigger view of the icon. These two are actually the same. And then I have a support link that goes to how to do that on Apple Support's website. Okay, let's see if I can do this without it going bad on me. Okay, I had Oh yeah, first I need to locate a graphic that I can copy, and one way to get those is in Safari, and I'm going to clear this window and get me a new Safari window, and I'm going to search for STUG. Well, STUG brings up that tank, so I'm going to do Sarasota. And I'm going to change my search to images by going over here. And I'm going to click that one. I'm going to select that one, so I'm going to copy that Command C. Or if I forgot how to do Command C, that's not going to work. Command C. Okay, I go back here to this one, and now I'm going to got where it's going here. Okay, File. Okay, now get information on that. And I'm going to select this, and I'm going to paste with Command P. Okay, I think of all my messing around, I lost my clipboard here. I'm going to go back. Right now, it's not letting me choose any of these. Let me see if I can pick it out of this window here. Copy image. Finally. What the problem I was having is I didn't really copy that image from that very first step, and I had to go back and get to a better place to copy the image from here. But now if I go back into Finder, I'm going to get rid of this window here. Now when I click on this, the folder looks like this icon here. And it's just a fake thing that so I could find it, I named it, changed my icon originally here. And any questions on that? Sorry, that was so confusing. My demonstration wasn't smooth there. Okay, the next slide we want to look at here is this is something that I do often, and I tend to have my dock disappear. I know a lot of people like to have their dock showing all the time, but I tend to have it disappear and reappear. And here's the way you can do that with the system preferences. First, you click on System Preferences, and then you select the dock and menu bar from system preferences, and then you have to select the same name again from a different window, and then you click automatically hide and show doc. Now, I'm going to bring up system preferences here. Hide that so we see this better. Now here's the dock and menu bar. When I select that, this is the dock and menu bar area here, and then there's some other things, the control center. This stuff down here is really about the menu bar, but I'm talking about the dock, which is the bottom, and the menu bar across the top. And in this case, this is the dock area. And down here is automatically hide and show the dock. If I uncheck this, the dock's going to reappear because it's not going to hide. Okay, so if I leave it like that, the dock is always going to be showing. Now you can also do the same thing, hide or show the menu bar, this bar across the top. But the menu bar, I choose not to do that because I use that more often. Every time you want a command from the menu bar, you have to reach up there and get it. And the menu bar takes up a very small slice of your screen, whereas the dock takes up a bigger slice. And the dock is more colorful, so it's more distracting. It draws your eye more than the menu bar. So to me, it's just better to have the dock out of the way most of the time. So the other shortcut to this down here, we have an alternate method here. You right click the dividing line between the apps and recent apps. And I'm talking about this line right here. As I move my cursor, these are all the apps from left to right. Finder's always on the far left. The wastebasket's always on, or trash is always on the far right. This divider line is the divider between the apps that are in the dock, and these are fixed in the dock because I want them to be. These in between these two lines, these are the recently used apps that are not in the dock, and I can choose to move them in the dock or just leave them where they're at. But if this dividing line, if I hover my cursor over that, the cursor changes to a double-headed white arrow, and if I right-click that, it brings up a contextual window that I can turn hiding. I can change these 4 things about the dock, or I can go into dock preferences, and that's where we were with system preferences. I can go in there and change more things. Now hiding, I can just turn that on right now. And also I can turn it off. And here again, the dots under the icons are showing me which applications are running. So if I turn on my app switcher, that's where it's going to jump between all the running applications. Any questions on that? Okay, now I want to switch to controlling the audio. And there's some audio controls up in the menu bar. And there are also some audio controls in the system preferences. So if you want to select your output device, you can go into system preferences and then choose the sound icon and then choose which device you want to output on, and then select that from the list. So if I go into system preferences, first I'm going to hide that, go into system preferences. Oops. Okay, then if I choose sound, this icon here, that brings me up. I can do sound effects, output, or input. Input is the microphone. Output is where you want the sound to come out of your computer. And I have all these choices here. And in my case, this external headphones, on the Mac Mini that I use, there's an external headphone jack. And I actually have a set of speakers plugged into that, and that's normally what I use. I could use the Mac Mini speakers, which aren't too loud. I don't very often use that. Or I have two monitors hooked to my Mac Mini. This one is an LG monitor, and I could use the speakers in it. And this one here is a Vizio TV I have hooked, and I can use those speakers. But for right now, I choose these external headphones, which really mean my computer speakers. Or I could send this room in, or send this to another room through AirPlay. I could. My wife would love this if I just sent it all to her TV in there, and she was watching her picture and got my sound. Or you can also do a selection up here with this speaker icon in the menu bar. And that gives me the same set of choices here, but it only gives me the output. If I want to do the input, I have to go back through sound preferences, which is really the system preferences down here. This was just a shortcut to get me to that output section. I could choose input. In my case right now, I only have one active microphone on here, so I really don't have a choice. Now I can also set the output level right here, or I can mute it here. But because this is clicked here, that's why this symbol shows up. If I uncheck that, that speaker went away. If I check it, it comes back in. And I like to have that on there because it gives me a quick look at some of the stuff. And here again, this is a sound level. Now there's nothing coming through my speakers now, so it's really not changing anything. But if I were listening to something, either music or watching a video, it would change the sound level. Or if you were speaking to me, it would change that level also. Then on that slide, this what I just talked about covered these two sections of this slide, but there's also another way to change the sound level with the keyboard. Depending on your keyboard, up in the upper right, there are three keys that have to deal with sound, and they have a sub-label of F10, 11, and 12. In my case, they're just to the left of the eject key up in the upper right-hand corner. And this is the mute button for sound. If I push that button, you see the little icon that came down, it muted out the sound, now it's turned on. If I push F11, it increases the sound, or I'm sorry, decreases the sound. F12 increases the sound. And I have it selected in the preferences, so when I click that button, it makes that noise that you hear. But if I want to make these adjustments finer, I can simultaneously hold down the Shift and Option key together when I press either of these buttons, and it will change the jump to 1/4 the level. Let me show you the increase again, and kind of watch in this area down here for the symbol. You see how it's jumping? Now I'm going to hold the Shift Option key, Shift and Option key. There are also Shift and Option keys in the right-hand portion of your screen. These keys are duplicated. When I hold that down and press the F12 key, see how that symbol is like cut in fourths? Or same way if I go down. So you can have a finer tune on your sound level. Now that's, I suppose if you drag this sound level up here, you could have a pretty fine level on it too. But this is a way to make the buttons a finer adjustment. Okay, I've worked through all the slides, and it's a good thing because I'm 2 minutes over time. Are there any questions here?
Greg,
Yes.
quick question. Do you have Or do you know anybody in STUG that does like, a Mac 101? I'm so confused with Mac. I can teach an iPhone class, but when it comes to Mac, forget it. I get lost after the first word.
Well, I don't know of anybody else in STUG that teaches Mac. I think most people are interested in PCs. A lot of people are interested in iPhones and iPads in STUG, but not many in Mac. I have taught beginning classes several times. I don't know how helpful. I know there are some services in Sarasota, some teaching services. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the share and stop the recording here.